Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Jessica Hill joins us. She's the political reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, here for the whole show on all new Nevada Newsmakers.
Safety is the #1 priority for the trucking industry. Over $7 billion a year is spent on technology like this electronic eye that will apply the brakes automatically. But the most important factor for safety is the truck driver. These hardworking men and women who safely move over 70% of our nation's freight and 94% of Nevada's. We thank you because trucks move America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we are delighted to welcome to the program for the first time Jessica Hill. She is the political reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So am I correct that you speak fluent Spanish?
You know, I used to when I graduated college. That was one of my majors. However, since I graduated in 2019, I gotta say it's gone downhill a little bit. I mean, I can still probably speak maybe proficiently, but it's sad that it's gone downhill. I really need to keep it up.
Well, it seems to me that this would be an incredible asset for you in covering politics in the state of Nevada, just because the African American community and the Hispanic community are both in flux in terms of who they're supporting politically for a number of reasons. And so that would kind of give you a heck of an edge. I know that there's, the whole Spanish side to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, but I just think that that would be a great addition for you.
Oh yeah, it's come in handy already. I did a story recently where I talked with a few just different Latino folks in Las Vegas. And luckily I had my recorder out and told them that, I'm struggling with Spanish, but if I talk to you, I could play it back and, slowly understand every single word that you're saying. And we have some, Spanish speaking folks at the RJ that I'll run my stories past too if I'm, talking to people in Spanish just to make sure that I understand everything that they're saying. So that's pretty helpful.
So it's going to be a quiet year for you, obviously, not a whole lot going on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, nothing going on.
Let's start with the U.S. Senate race. Jackie Rosen already on television. It seems almost like nonstop advertisements. I'm seeing a lot of ads already in Northern Nevada, not just on regular TV, but also digital ads that are popping up on TVs around my office. What's the state of the race in your mind at this point? Is it going to be, according to the people you speak to, Sam Brown as the candidate, or does anybody else have a chance at this point?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's definitely a toss-up. The Cook Political Report labeled it a toss-up a couple weeks ago. I know national Republicans think that, Sam Brown has it in the bag. I think one interesting, play here is Jeff Gunter. He just a few days ago put in a $2.7 million loan in the first quarter of 2024 for his campaign, and he's using that for ad buys, including one, attack ad against Sam Brown, who he calls Scam Brown. And with him being the former ambassador to Iceland under the Trump administration, and I know that Donald Trump attended a fundraiser for him at Mar-a-Lago, although he's not officially, given any endorsements yet in this race. I know Sam Brown has been looking for his endorsement, and I think if Donald Trump were to weigh in on this race, I think that could have a big impact on who could pull ahead. Obviously, Sam Brown is the front runner right now, but if Jeff Gunter were to get Donald Trump's endorsement, I think that could really shake things up.
Somebody said to me recently that Sam Brown really has no experience in elective office. He ran in Texas and failed. He ran against Adam Laxalt in a primary last time around and failed. But I pointed out that Jackie Rosen was president of a synagogue. She had no experience in politics. Harry Reid put her into office in the House, and then almost immediately she started running for the Senate. So I think it's probably fair to say that she also had no experience when she started, and that has not been a liability in terms of her raising money or being in the Senate.
Right. Yeah, I think past political experience isn't totally necessary anymore, nor is it a downfall for candidates. Look at Donald Trump. He didn't have any previous political experience before he ran, and that hasn't really been an issue. I think it's actually appealing to a lot of people when you don't have, I think people use career politicians a lot as an insult, even though, it's not supposed to be an insult. But that's I just don't think that it'll be a big of an issue just because you don't have any previous political experience.
There are plenty of others that are running for the Senate race. I got a call from Garn Mabey, the former minority leader in the Assembly, requesting to be on the program. But it seems unless you have a ton of money at this late stage in the game, it ain't happening.
Right. Yeah, I think we have 12 Republicans in the race, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, there's just so many folks to really include. I've been, really working on how to fairly include everybody. I have a few stories running up until the primary of just a questionnaire that I asked all the candidates, with different positions on where they stand on. And then throughout the, up until the primary, those stories will be running. And unfortunately, there's so many people. So with the print version, there's just the top, 6 or so candidates. And then on the online version, we have everybody. But it's tough, having to, there's a lot of people in the race and, you can't include everybody in print, for instance. We can't have huge stories run every single day with everybody.
Right. I'm coming down to moderate a town hall with the mayoral candidates. And the 14 people have been invited so far. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And how does the mayor's race strike you at this point in time? I mean, Shelley Berkeley, her campaign has been out there already for a very long time. But when I talk to people who are connected in the city of Las Vegas, there are other names that pop up as, potentially. What are you gaining on the ground from the mayor's race at this point?
Yeah, so I actually don't really cover the mayor's race. We have another reporter who's been covering that, who used to cover the city of Las Vegas, so he's been focused on that, Ricky Torres. But from what I've been hearing from him, it seems like Shelley Berkeley has it in the bag, from what I understand. But Cedric Creer, I think, is also one that really pops up quite a bit too. But those are really the only 2 big names that I've been hearing.
Yes,
although I know that there's a lot of people running.
Yeah, yes, there are, to say the least. Let's talk about CD3. That seems like that is the race that potentially is in the most contention. What are you hearing about CD3?
Yeah, I'm hearing, I think the Cook Political Report labeled her as still a lean Democrat, but it could be, switched to toss up soon. Who knows? A lot of people are running that race. I think that there's about 7 Republicans, if I'm not mistaken. And it has a lot of interesting characters in there. We have, Fleming Larson. We have Marty O'Donnell, who's the Halo composer. And we also have former State Senator Elizabeth Helgelian. And then Drew Johnson, who, was really close to winning a Clark County Commission race down here in 2022. I think he lost by, I don't know the exact number, maybe 13 votes or something really small like that. So with all those people in the race, it'll be interesting to see kind of who pulls forward. We had Dan Schwartz commit to like $800,000. He loaned himself in this first quarter, and I think that really put him ahead. But it seems to be like a toss up as far as the Republican primary goes right now. I'm not really sure who will be pulling forward.
Well, I'll make this comment and keep you away from it. But I mean, Dan Schwartz has run for so many things over the years, and he certainly has the money to do it. And he has great experience as a businessman. It just seems like, he jumps into these races, spends a bunch of money, but doesn't really get anywhere. Doesn't gain the traction.
Right. And also, I misspoke. Fleming Larson is running in Dean Tice's district. He's not included, but he is like a big player, I think, in the Republican primary against Mark Robertson in Dean Titus's district.
Do you think that, I know that Dina was very upset about, the redistricting that occurred in her district, but it didn't seem to hurt her at all in the last go-around. How is it playing out from what you're hearing and seeing so far this time around?
Yeah, I think similarly. I don't think that she has anything to worry about. We saw her win pretty easily in 2022. So I don't think that she has too much of a worry. However, with this election, President Biden is really on call here. And so all of the Democrats, I think, are going to be impacted by people's perceptions of Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. So I think they could all be at play just depending on, how people view Joe Biden here.
This has become one of the most fascinating races, obviously because of the age of both of the candidates, but the energy level of both of the candidates. The president not appearing to be as energetic, Donald Trump, who's only a couple of years younger, appearing to be more energetic, and the state of the economy, the state of immigration, and who would have thought that immigration would go to the top of the issues that this election is going to center on?
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's really interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Yeah, who knows? I'm surprised as well that, just talking to people on the ground, how about how they feel about the, lineup of just a rematch from 2020 with President Biden and Donald Trump. And most people are just apathetic about it. They don't like the age of either of the candidates. However, they've both been pushing back saying, it's all about wisdom and, age doesn't matter as long as you still have good ideas. And that's kind of how both parties have been, pushing back on that age factor. But just talking with folks on the ground, it definitely seems like people they were wanting someone new and someone fresh. And speaking of which, it'll be interesting to see if RFK Jr. plays a bigger role coming up. If both parties are apathetic about their candidate this year, if more people will maybe go toward an independent, nonpartisan third-party candidate.
Okay, so if you look back at 2014, when the Republicans made significant gains in Nevada, a part of that was Democrats staying home. Is that a concern you're hearing from people in politics in Nevada, that they are concerned that people are going to stay home just because of the candidates at this point?
I think that is definitely a real concern. People say this is an election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This is an election between those two candidates and people's couches, who will get up and actually go out. But the thing about Nevada is that it's so easy to vote here. I could do it from my kitchen table and turn in my mail-in ballot, and then that's done. I could get it done in 5 minutes. So I think that also plays a big role. I think you might see less people staying in because it's just so easy to turn in a ballot. Why not just, fill it out and turn it in? So I think both of those things will kind of be at play.
One of the things that's been fascinating to watch here in the last few weeks is, for a long time, Republicans were against mail-in votes and wanted everybody to vote on Election Day. And then they realized that they were not being successful because of this. And now they're trying to turn things around. I've never understood why, because it was going to affect whoever was going to say that the vote wasn't accurate was going to affect people deciding whether to vote or not. And now they're having to do this giant turnaround. And it's got to be very frustrating for Republican candidates to see how slow this turnaround has been. That, at this point, it's almost late in the game.
Right. Yeah, I think a problem is consistent messaging. There was a phone call several months ago now from the RNC about how they're pushing, mail ballots and what they term as ballot harvesting, and like really utilizing these strategies that Democrats have used in previous years and really taking advantage of them this year and like pushing for that. Yet our party leadership here in Nevada are staunch, election deniers, and they believe that, mail ballots are not the most, secure way of voting. So it's hard to kind of have both of those things. And I think that could come back to bite them. If you still have candidates that are still claiming that they're victims of election fraud, how can, especially in the primary session too, how can they expect their supporters to go out and use those methods in the same way if they are told that they're not secure? So I think messaging is super important.
One of the big players behind the scenes, but obviously in front as well, is Governor Lombardo, who is determined to protect his position at the next legislative session by getting more Republicans into office so that he doesn't face supermajorities in both houses. What are you hearing about that?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the case. I know with Heidi Kasama, she was going to run for Congress and then she pulled back to, give Lombardo that space. I think that'll definitely be a factor here. But like I said, with, Joe Biden's reputation, I think all of those Democrats will be affected by his reputation. So I think Lombardo could have like a good chance of keeping those seats, red, and maybe gain some seats too. But it'll be interesting to see how Democrats really start. They've already started, pushing out the door campaigns and get out the vote drives really early in the, election cycle. Talking with Democrats on the ground who are working for Biden's campaign and just, congressional offices, they're really trying to push all of, Biden's positive records really far in advance and hoping that'll like trickle down for all of the Democratic races, including the, legislature races.
I think it's going to be interesting, too, to see where the economy is. The Fed, as we're talking this morning, which is the 17th of April, the Fed saying that don't expect cuts in interest rates anytime soon. That does not bode well for the economy, for the average person, and that's going to play into this as well. Let's take a break and we'll come back more with Jessica Hill. She's the political reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal after this timeout.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Jessica Hill. She is the political reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. One of the people that it shocked me when I heard that she was running, but based on what you were saying just before the break, it makes sense. Lori Rogich, the wife of Sig Rogich, the Republican kingmaker who has been around forever and was in part responsible for the governor getting elected. And she's been very involved in education over the years, but I was just somewhat surprised that she was going to run for the Nevada legislature. What are you hearing about her campaign?
Yeah, excuse me. No, it'll be really interesting to see how that one plays out too. She comes from like a very strong background with, Sig Rogich, and I think that she'll gain a lot of attention in her race.
Yeah, to say the least. So the governor has done what so many others have done over the years, which is basically ignore the state Republican Party, and he has basically become the state Republican Party without portfolio. What is going on with Michael McDonald? They are all facing these legal challenges here. The whole fake elector thing. I mean, the Republicans I talk to just throw their hands up in the air and go, why can't we have a Republican Party? And especially with the Reid machine still essentially in place.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think it's interesting to see how Governor Lombardo is kind of forming his own arm of the Republican Party in Nevada. Obviously, he's separate from the Nevada Republican Party. But people are kind of comparing him to Harry Reid. Is this the start of the Lombardo machine? We're seeing, him endorse candidates down the ballot. We're seeing his PAC, continue to play a big role. It'll be interesting to see with that. And I think that there's always been a divide between, even during the 2022 midterms, we saw the Nevada Republican Party endorse Joey Gilbert, even though others endorsed Joe Lombardo. I think Donald Trump actually endorsed Joe Lombardo, so that was interesting as well. And then you're seeing that again with the Senate race, where Lombardo threw his hat in to endorse Sam Brown. And it'll be interesting to see if others will endorse Jeff Gunter and further, divide that, split in that Republican Party there.
I read the Daily Beast piece on Jeff Gunter yesterday, and that was kind of an interesting thing that people should look at and understand his time as the Icelandic ambassador, and understanding that it is definitely from a liberal point of view, but at the same time there were some interesting things in there. It's going to be fascinating to watch the governor, because in this past week he basically announced to you guys that that he's already running for re-election with 2 years left to go in his term. So no doubt that he plans to be around.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And he's been really towing that line between, he's been trying to paint himself as a more moderate governor. We saw that the last legislative session, him passing some, approving some bills that, would protect people coming out of state to receive an abortion. And yet you're also seeing him, criticize President Biden for, not opening up enough federal land and, encouraging him to open up federal land for housing development. So he's really been doing like a good job, I think, painting that line between, appeasing the more MAGA crowd and then also appeasing the more moderate, maybe libertarian crowd in Nevada.
All right, let's take another quick break and we'll be right back.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Jessica Hill. She is the political reporter for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. You need to follow her if you want to keep on following everything political. Just one last quick thing here. The lands bills that are needed for Clark County, for Washoe County, for a whole bunch of the northern counties, they just seem to be going nowhere. And Mark Amadei was on the program a couple of months ago, and he said, I miss Harry Reid, because if he said he wanted to get something done, it got done. And we're not in that position now. That's my line. The lands bill are going to play a big role in what happens here, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and I think Harry Reid is still, like, his machine is still very much alive, yet the influence that he had is still, Senator Cortez Masto and Senator Jackie Rosen have a lot of influence, but I don't think that they've made it to that level yet where Harry Reid really had that, kind of power. Hopefully, maybe in the future, if Senator Cortez Masto keeps on with her track, she'll, become just as influential as him. But that's a good point. Congressman Amadei has been working pretty closely with Senator Jackie Rosen and Senator Cortez Masto on this. But yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how that works out.
And that's what.
But yeah, that land bill is super necessary. We'll see.
Yes, I thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Please come back soon.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
You're very welcome, and we'll be right back.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers. You can catch us online 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com, or you can download the podcast wherever you like to get your podcast. We'll see you on the next broadcast.